Yield! I yield!
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie, and by popular demand, here's my Game of Thrones Season 4 preview for Brienne of Tarth. It's also, as of posting this video, George R. R. Martin's official birthday. Be sure to send him an email telling him not to kill your favorite character because he can't refuse any request on his birthday. Or is that his daughter's wedding day? I don't think he has a daughter. Let's roll the dice on that one. So like I said in my previous Game of Thrones Season 4 preview videos, spoiler warning for everything from Seasons 1 to 3, and a mild spoiler warning for the beginning of Feast for Crows. Brienne is one of my favorite characters on Game of Thrones. She didn't really start out that way. When I was reading the books, when she and Jaime started having their scenes together, I really felt like it was more about Jaime and focused more on him. But as Gwendolyn Christie and Nikolai Coster-Waldau started working on the show, basically most of those scenes started to turn more into Brienne's story that Jaime just happened to be passing through. Think of it like in Star Wars, it being this small R2 unit story as he kind of runs into all these Jedi Masters and tries to kind of chronicle the history of the galaxy over like a 70-year span. He's totally going to be in episode 7. Don't you just feel sometimes like Brienne is the last good thing in Westeros? Like she has this really pure dream that she's really open about. All she ever wanted to be was a knight. She basically wants to be like in the King's Guard, defending her king and the realm. But when in reality, the King's Guard is just full of a bunch of cheats and liars. But she sticks to her guns even when she gets dragged through the mud and a few bear pits, and takes Jaime back to King's Landing. Obviously, some of her sense of honor and duty rubbed off on Jaime in the most epic bath scene ever seen in fandom. But I think she's going to get a much more independent storyline in Season 4 after the first few episodes. So let's follow up on the Season 3 finale where we left Brienne and Jaime. They basically just arrived at King's Landing and said their goodbyes. But what is Brienne going to do now that she's in King's Landing? All she wants to be is a knight, and they probably aren't going to let her join the Kingsguard just because it's a bit of a boys' club. So what is she going to do next? Obviously, she needs another quest. There are a few things to address before that happens, though. So there is one big plot point that Brienne needs to wrap up before she can kind of move on and take on her next quest. If you remember in Season 2, she was one of the last people to see Renly alive, so she basically got blamed for his murder along with Catelyn Stark. And everyone who doesn't understand the magic of that situation still thinks she's a murderer, including Renly's boyfriend, Loras, who just happens to be in King's Landing getting ready to marry Cersei. So based on that, they obviously have to wrap up that storyline, so I think Jaime and Brienne will get some more scenes together in the first couple of episodes. I don't know if it'll be the first episode or the second or the third. I don't think that Brienne will be in every single episode, but obviously Jaime is going to have to rescue her from another bear pit. This time the bear pit is Loras. Chronologically, since they've already changed so much about Brienne's storyline from the books, we have to talk about a few things that are probably going to happen. So let me know what you think of my timeline here. I think this is how it's going to go down. Here's where we also need to talk about a few more specific spoilers from the end of Book 3 and the beginning of Book 4, so careful for that. So remember, the whole point of Brienne's quest in bringing Jaime back to King's Landing was to trade for Sansa and Arya. Everyone else still kind of thinks they're in King's Landing, but because Sansa's storyline kind of diverges in the books, even though that's already changed, a few things are going to get a little bit fuzzy. So this is why I think the timeline is going to change in this way. In the books, by the time Brienne makes it back to King's Landing with Jaime, Sansa has already fled, so there are no Stark girls in King's Landing. That's why she ends up having to go on her next quest, to try and find them for Catelyn. But because the show has changed that now, I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a big mega spoiler event, then Sansa will leave, then Brienne will be ordered to bring her back. So here's 5 chronological events that I think are going to lead to Brienne's new quest. 1, she deals with a very, very pissed off Loras. 2, she doesn't really get any scenes for a couple of episodes, which kind of sucks. 3, mega spoilery event I will not discuss here. 4, Sansa flees to the Vale with Littlefinger. And then 5, Brienne is ordered to bring her back. Someone is going to tell Brienne that Sansa has been kidnapped, and on her honor, she has to bring Sansa back and rescue her. Let me know what you think of my timeline there. I think that's the way it's going to go down based on the way things have changed chronologically from the books to the show. Remember, if you've read ahead, a lot of that's going to be invalidated now. Although I think a lot of the big events will still happen. I still think she's going to get Oathkeeper. So let me know what you think. Since so many of you have requested him, my next Game of Thrones Season 4 preview will be for Stannis. That video will post on Monday. Be sure to subscribe to get it. Obviously, after that, I have to do Melisandre. They come as a pair. As always, be sure to write in the comments and let me know which characters you want to talk about next. I'll be sure to add them to my list. I also just posted a very special giveaway to say thank you to all of you for subscribing to my channel and helping it get so big so fast. You can click here to watch that, or you can click here to watch all my other Game of Thrones Season 4 preview videos. Thank you so much. Remember, Legend of Korra tonight. See you guys later. High fives!